Mention our names to you. My name is David Kwekusechi.
Yes. And my name is Jifa KD Akutu. It's always a pleasure to come your way every morning.
Yeah, so we're going to go to the news portals, bring you up to speed with what some of the portals are saying. We have our very own 97.3 City FM.
The papers are still very much in the Christmas
mood. Oh, no, they've gone to rest. They will return. Some of them will return on the 6th. Some of them will return later.
All right.
You know, so citynewsroom.com. We also have ChannelOneNews.com as well. And we'll take you to some other portals as well, Graphic Online and so on. Maybe we may go international as well, depending on what time we have. But let's take a look at citynewsroom.com. It says here, Baumia is speaking. My campaign team opposed early election concession. No surprise there. For me, it doesn't come as a surprise that he should say this. I even think that, or I thought that we might have heard this earlier, you know, that the campaign team opposed it. Because the campaign team, they have an objective. Right. The idea was for them to win the election.
Yeah, of course.
You see the thing. So why throw in the towel when maybe something could happen?
Yeah. Miracles
you know. So I'm not surprised at all. We also have Supreme Court to hear NDC's challenge to High Court's recollation ruling. Okay, we have implement policies that resonate with Ghanaians. Yabonra to Mahama. I got my best Christmas gift, Baumia, on a 4-year-old cured leper visiting him. This story is a particularly touching one. You know, Baumia has been very much involved, and Father Campbell was saying here the other day when he joined us on the set, he's been very much involved with Father Campbell in his quest to support the lepers directly. You know, he even has facilities where he can go and stay with them, you know, on the grounds at Wager, you know, and then some of the other places in Kanchina and other places as well. Now, the girl we're talking about in this story has been cured of leprosy, but beyond that, you know, leprosy deals with your limbs and your extremities, right? So she had a limb replacement, you know, so now she can actually walk because she has a prosthetic leg, you know, and so with the prosthetic leg, Father Campbell took her, the 4-year-old, to go visit Dr. Baumia, and this is what he's saying here. He was very elated, and that's the best Christmas gift.
I saw the video on social media, and it was really heartwarming, seeing how the girl was trying to run to him and hug him and all of that.
With open arms, and she was just going to him. It's just a beautiful, very, very touching scene there. I'll champion a prosperous future for Ghana's youth and the vulnerable. Mahama is speaking. Let me give you one final one. Or maybe a couple of them. Verify facts before making misleading statements. Minister of Education to the WAEC PRO. Okay, and humbly accept 2024 election outcome for unity and development. This is the Speaker of Parliament to Ghanaians. Okay, I think. Okay, it's okay. Let me just leave it there. Yes, you. Yeah, no. He says you should humbly accept, but we are the ones who chose it. We chose the outcome, or we didn't choose.
Oh yes, Ghana decided.
Hey, Ghana decided. So he's now telling us that we should humbly accept, but we chose it. We like it. We want it. We chose it.
Anyway, quickly, let me take us to ChannelOneNews.com this morning. It says Supreme Court to rule on NDC's opposition to EC recollation order, as well as appoint persons with integrity and commitment to Ghana. Yagbonwura to Mahama. Posterity has vindicated your efforts, Yagbonwura tells Mahama. GPRTU advises festive travelers to prioritize safety with registered vehicles. We've disbursed over 167.9 million to 9 million Ghana cedis to WAEC since July 2024, and that's by the Education Minister. Appreciation of journalists for aiding governance, that's from Bagbing. And some stories from the Saglame fire. It says Saglame fire didn't affect redevelopment project documents. Calm LMI Consortium has that one. Let's reflect on 2024 elections and build Ghana's one people. Bagwing has that to say to Ghanaians as well. And no guarantee on WASI results released by December 29th. We have other stories on ChannelOneNews.com, so you may want to check them out. We have stories on political issues, business, sports, lifestyle and entertainment, as well as international stories. So do head on to the website at ChannelOneNews.com to check out more.
All right, let me take you to Graphic Online, and we have here Baumia celebrates recovery of cured leper. He sponsored, so he was actually the one who paid for hair treatment, and calls it his best Christmas gift. Okay, we have NDC, Greater Accra NDC leadership divided over directive to submit nominees as government appointees. We also have here, I did not speak against holding wrongdoers accountable or oral. Okay, this is Reverend Kojo Bempa making some clarifications on his. I think there's a headline I saw earlier a few days ago where he said that we voted you to solve the economic issues and not chase people. There's something like that. And so I think he's clarifying there. Lab-grown cocoa coming soon from Switzerland. Okay, and those are some of the headlines from the Graphic Online. And then we do. Let me take you to some international news here. We have from BBC, BBC.com. We have Russia warns against hypotheses after Azerbaijan Airlines crash. Now, that was a very unfortunate incident that took the life of 38 people on board the flight. And there are suggestions that Russia was involved in that. Russia is warning against anybody who's just making speculations. Ukraine captures injured North Korean soldier, says so. So we have a UN health chief at Yemen airport during Israeli strikes. We have let me give you a couple more. We have Elon Musk's social experiment on humanity, how X evolved in 2024. Now, speaking about X evolution, did you notice that now, because of the way spaces are held, people have all kinds of interesting fora on space where they will, it's like for hours and hours they will sit on space having conversations sometimes in different countries, sometimes in different countries, and they will all be involved in having the conversation. When it's your turn to speak, you're given the leeway to go ahead. Everybody else is muted, and it's just fascinating how the whole community of the world is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and X is massively behind that. I'll just give you one more. Manmohan Singh, Indian ex-prime minister and architect of the economic reform in India, has died at 92 years of age. And so condolences to the Indian nation there. So that's some of the headlines from BBC.com.
Kweku, I would like to go into some details on Channel One Newsroom. Since election 2024, there's been lots of controversies about the recoalition of the 9 constituencies that were pending. So there's a story on ChannelOneNews.com that says Supreme Court to rule on NDC's opposition to EC recoalition order. The Supreme Court is set to hear an application for the judicial review today, Friday, December 27th, filed by the opposition National Democratic Congress. The NDC is challenging a controversial High Court ruling from December 20th that directed the Electoral Commission to recollate parliamentary election results in 9 disputed constituencies. The ruling followed a mandamus application brought by the New Patriotic Party parliamentary candidates in the affected constituencies. The EC has so far complied with the directive in 7 of the 9 constituencies, which were all won by the MPP. However, the results for Dom Kwabenya and Ablekuma North remain pending. The NDC has strongly opposed the recoalition process, describing it as illegal and lacking merit. The party contends with the High Court overstepped its jurisdiction and that its directive undermines the transparency and integrity of the electoral process. Speaking on the issue, the NDC argued that the EC's actions in compliance with the High Court's ruling compromise procedural fairness and the rule of law. The party is seeking the Supreme Court's intervention to overturn the decision. The case has drawn significant public attention and as it could set a precedent for how electoral disputes are handled in Ghana's legal system. So quickly, that's what we have on ChannelOne
I think the Supreme Court needs to come clear and strong on this one. Because again, you don't want to set a precedent that becomes the pattern for the future.
Right.
One of the challenges I have, for example, is how MPP got rid of Charlotte say. Of course, they were through legal processes that they said that there were financial malfeasance and so on. But for me, I think that set a precedent so that it's like now everybody's calling for the head of Jane Mensah. So it's like when you come, bring your own referee, which is completely unacceptable. Do you see that thing? It's like when you come, bring your own referee. Why should that be the case? And why should anybody be tolerating this? Do you see that thing? It's unacceptable. Afarijan started the whole process in the Fourth Republic experiment that we've been on. Okay, and he pronounced as president two different presidents from two different traditions of political experience, right? So, and if the person who appointed him, he brought him into office, and then he brought the other opposition also into office as well against the one who appointed him, and all was fair and square. So listen, let's do right by the nation, honestly, and let's correct some of the ills that have gone on so that, and I'm all for making sure propriety and, the rule of law and everything else, but political shenanigans that leads to these kinds of things, we should stop it. I mean, Charlie, we are grown, we are grown.
We'll be looking forward to the verdict of that later on in the day.
So, yes, one quick one before we take our break. GPRTU advises festive travelers to prioritize safety with registered vehicles. Okay, let's pay attention to this one. The Ghana Private Road Transporter Union has advised passengers traveling during the festive season to prioritize safety by using public transport vehicles registered with the union. This comes in response to concerns about passengers patronizing vehicles unregistered with the union due to the lack of adequate vehicles at many transport stations across the country, which poses safety risks, especially on challenging routes. Now, speaking to ChannelOne News in an interview on Thursday, December 26th, that's yesterday, Abasi Moro, the Industrial Relations Officer for GPRTU, urged passengers to ensure that they board vehicles operated by qualified drivers with valid licenses, avoiding unknown vehicles, particularly at night. I wonder how he proposes that we should check that they have valid licenses, because the valid license, they may have a license, but the license may be expired, and how do we check that, So I presume that if they are doing due diligence, right? Now, I also say that, and this is a kickback at what he said, right? I'm also saying that if we check through, we may find that of all the accidents that happen on our roads, a lot of them are already registered with the union.
Yes.
Right? I can't say that for 100% for a fact, but I'm hazarding a guess that let's say even 50% are registered with the unions. Here's the question. What is it that the union itself is doing to rein in its drivers, to discipline them, to make sure that when issues are reported to the union of bad driving and misbehavior? Because I've done some before, I've reported it, and there was no feedback, there was no, action taking, as far as I'm concerned, for where I sit, because nothing was reported back to me that these are the disciplinary measures that we have put in place. You see, so again, it's good. It's all good to give advice to passengers that they should board the vehicles. Okay, so they do, and if they get into an accident, will you take responsibility?
How are passengers the ones supposed to go and be checking the drivers?
Well, you see, that's the point. So I presume from what he said, and let me just finish this thing so that maybe he answers the question for us. Most of the roads we have been. Hey, this story is funny. Most of the roads we have been having strange vehicles. We should desist from moving in strange vehicles because some of the roads are very bad. Some of the roads have problems, and if you're a stranger on the road, you might not notice where these potholes are, which will cause accidents. So we are trying to avoid some avoidable accidents. The only advice we gave this year was that for any vehicle you want to join, make sure you inspect to know that the driver has a qualified license for the vehicle he is using. Wow. So he's putting the burden on passengers to make sure that the passengers know that the driver has a qualified license. I think that is
I'm just thinking.
That's unacceptable. Really, that's unacceptable. You want every passenger in a 34-seater bus. Each passenger should go and check the driver's and say, driver, show me your license. When I come, before I enter, driver, show me your license.
So,
really?
For example, if I'm standing at the Tesano bus stop waiting for a trotro,
and then when the trotro comes,
then I go to the driver.
Please, which union do you belong to? The first question. Number 2, show me your license before I enter.
Before I join the car.
No, seriously, come on. Let's be serious. All right, so it continues and says, the GPRTU reassured the public of its readiness to handle the increased demand for transportation during this festive season, emphasizing its long-standing commitment to ensuring adequate and safe services for all travelers. We keep telling the public, the general public, to exercise patience. Yes, I know that's something you're very good at doing. We should exercise patience. For how long? We will make sure we send all of them to where they are going. You mean you will take us to where we are going, not send us?
Yeah.
Okay, just by the way. The only thing that will change is the time, due to the volume of passengers who are traveling at the same time. But I thought you would anticipate that because every year there's Christmas. So you prepare for it, right? Anyway, regardless of the tension at the station, we have been able to reduce the tension because this is our daily routine during the festive seasons, and we are pretty sure that we'll bring them back when they are returning, he said. All right, so anyway, so that's it from Abasimoro, who was interviewed yesterday. But I think that it's important for passengers to take up a particular responsibility.
Right.
And that one is what I like to do when I'm in public transport. Insist on the driver doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of passengers behave like we all do, you know. It's like if I'm part of this group, whatever the group is doing is sacrosanct. Everything else that somebody else is doing, they are the bad ones, right? So have you ever been in a trotro before where you felt your trotro driver was driving badly? Then maybe a driver from another vehicle will reprimand your driver, and then the members of the trotro, especially those who are sitting in front, will fire back at the other driver as though their driver has done nothing wrong. You see, and this is the thing we do that leads to accidents. Right? Because your driver is misbehaving. Correct him, because your life is at risk.
I've actually been in a trotro before where I was telling the driver to drive carefully, and he was
upset. They don't like those type of things.
He was just rubbishing everything I was saying. Do you know what I did?
What?
Because he was not listening to me, I just recorded him and called Ghana Police Service and reported him.
That's all. No, it's as simple as that. Well, you have tried. Me, I'll get down from the trotro.
Yeah, I did actually. I needed to film the video first. Yes, and I called and got down. halfway through the journey.
Honestly, we need to take responsibility into our own hands.
You can't put my life in danger like that.
Because that's the problem. Yeah. I remember once I was going to a bridge. It's happened a couple of times. But one of the times I was going towards, I think I was going towards Mampo. You know, but I took the vehicle from Medina.
Right.
By the time he went, he crossed. I think he got past. I think it was either May or Reese Junction or May or SD, somewhere there. The guy started to fire, speed.
Still pretty much in town.
He was in town, no. I said, Master, slow down. He didn't mind me. Everybody else doing the trotro was quiet. Yeah. I waited for about 30 seconds. Then I raised my voice. I said, driver, what are you doing? Why is it not just here that we're going? Whatever time you are estimating to arrive, the speed will not change much within about 5 to 7 minutes, tops. Take your time and get us there safely. Then some people turned and looked at me. They were still
as
quiet.
Though you are the bad one.
I'm the one who's creating a problem. When we got on the hill, you should have seen dangerous maneuvers, dangerous. As I drop me here. Drop me here. This driving is nonsensical. Drop me here. So when I reacted like that, he had a decision to make. He was either going to drop me or behave properly. Yes. He chose to behave properly. And then we all went to our destination safely. You see, but a lot of people don't want to confront people like that. And so when the accident happens, and it happens to be your side that gets hit or, you know, people die. Then we hear stories like we told him when he was speeding, we told him. We're telling him to slow down, but he wasn't minding that. No, please, you didn't do it forcefully enough, trust me. There is no driver that if the whole bus rises up and angrily shuts him down, telling him, stop what you are doing. Okay? That they will always stop. And you have to, you see, and what happens is that you have to energize the bus because Ghanaians are typical followers. Yes, Ghanaians are typical followers, right? Yes. Well, 90% of Ghanaians are typical followers. So what happens is that if they feel that you're going to champion the cause and you're not just mentioning it once and backing down, but you're maintaining your stand and championing the cause, they'll follow you. Yes. They'll follow you.
And Kweku, I think as passengers riding in public vehicles all the time, one thing we should prioritize is our safety and how we get to our destinations safe and sound, rather than how fast we are going to get there. Because there are a lot of reckless drivers on the road. I mean, cars that are in very bad conditions, and cars that are not road-worthy.
Yes, but you've passed the road-worthy test, but you are not road-worthy. Anyway. Yeah. And I see them all the time. You see that there's a trotro that is balancing like this and is moving on the road.
Yet they are still carrying passengers.
It's carrying people. Yes, it's full of passengers and they are going. 3 nights ago, I saw a scene that I haven't seen for so many years. There was a pickup truck, the Kia, you know, the big Kia.
Right.
So they are different sizes. This is like the biggest of the Kia trucks, right? Open back. It's for goods. It was full of passengers, seated, lined up, seated. I could not believe my eyes. I was like, this is a disaster waiting to happen.
Yes, they're seated in the car. They won't complain.
Yeah. No, they're happy. For them, it's like he's taking all of us home. We are okay with it.
Until something happens.
And when he jetted off from the traffic light, the speed he took off with, I said, hey, people don't care about their lives like that, though. In their mind, very naive, very ignorant. It's like, oh, I mean, every day we get home. Today too, we'll get home. It's only one day.
Until you don't, yes.
It's only one day. And you see, a vehicle like that, an accident, there'll be many people who will die. Yes. Many people. There's nothing. There's no safety protections because you are in the open bucket
Kweku,
of a truck.
Aside from that, our roads are not in the best conditions.
The hidden potholes.
And our lights, especially when you're driving at night, street lights, there are no street lights on the road. The whole Accra is dark. Most parts of, out of town is really dark. Most towns are dark with no street lights. There are potholes, there are no road markings.
Yeah.
So the drivers could barely even see, especially when they are driving at night.
Yeah.
So when you are in a car and the driver is driving recklessly, look, you need to do yourself some good and call the driver to order.
Yeah, and if you're somebody who also likes to walk on our streets, I beg you, not just this season, but moving forward, try and own a reflector jacket. Okay, a reflector jacket of sorts.
Right.
Have a couple of them, okay? Because what happens is that for people who don't drive, I mean, you may be a passenger, you may, but if you don't hold a vehicle yourself to drive, what you may not realize is how little drivers actually can see on the road, okay? If there are no street lights, how little drivers can actually see. It's very, very little, okay? And we are seeing maybe 50 yards ahead of us, max. But the speed at which we are driving, the 50 yards was not enough to brake when we see you. I don't know if that makes sense, right?
It is.
We see you, by the time we see you, the speed at which we are traveling, there's not enough braking distance to avoid knocking you Do you get it? So please, if you want to go working out, you want to go jogging, you want to, just go for a stroll in the evening. Maybe you like the evening weather. You want to just go for. Please always wear a reflector jacket so you can be seen from far away. Because the dark clothes, they don't reflect any light. We don't even see there's anything crossing the road till it's too late. And so please, this one, I beg you, let's do this, okay? All right, so we'll take a quick break.
All right.
When we are back, we're going to have a number of things. So there's a phone-in segment. We're going to be talking about the season in which we are, fires, and every Harmattan season, fires are a major challenge. We're talking about fires. Some have already started happening. There will be more. I can assure you that, because the weather is dry. And when the weather is dry, the slightest thing sparks, okay? So we'll be looking at fires, the causes, what to do when it happens, what to do in your home when it happens, how to behave in your home so that you don't have fires, all those things. We'll be having those conversations as well, plus more music. David Music Book is around, and Situation playbacks are also available, and we will be showing you some of the excitement of Situation. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with more on Breakfast Daily.